you've had quite a few problems, haven't you, with the menopause? Talk to us about your experience.
Well, very briefly, I didn't have any of the physical problems. You know, you talk about hot sweats and so on. I should say I'm coming up to 62 years of age. I'm post-menopause now. So this happened about 10 years ago when women didn't really, or were made to feel ashamed when they talked about the menopause. They were meant to feel as though they were going crazy, as though, oh, you're having a funny turn. You know, all of that terrible language that was associated with it and shouldn't be. And I found I started to become anxious, which I've never been in my life. You know, I run businesses, I fly a plane, all of that kind of stuff. And, where was this coming from? And then that developed into a very serious, deep depression. And I had no other issues going on in my life. I had a very happy life. I loved my life. And I used to keep a log, and it was my saviour, really, of the day my period started every month. And I started to see that there was a pattern and that it was linked hormonally. I found a private doctor who put me on hormone gels, and which are now available on the NHS. And within 48 hours, those feelings had disappeared. And I spoke about it on ITV about 6 years ago, and it kind of broke a taboo, you know, all these things you're not meant to mention. And I'm glad I did mention it. But I really worried at the time about talking about it. And that's ridiculous, isn't it? It's ridiculous, you know, when these things can be resolved so simply.
Did you feel isolated?
I did at the time because everything, you know, I was hosting Loose Women a few years earlier on ITV. And whenever the girls talked about, oh, you were, language is very important. You know, the language you were meant to use was sort of self-deprecating and degrading to you as a woman. You know, oh, I'm having a crazy day. Oh, I'm this, that, and the other, you know. Why should we have to use this stuff? It's just a hormonal imbalance. And so I have deep objection to the way we use language about it. And women should stand up. I was doing a piece for television yesterday alongside the menopause lesson. One woman, this was in Cardiff, and one woman came down and she said, I was sacked last week. I'm a chef. I was sacked last week because the manager was bullying me and said I was forgetful all the time. What a terrible thing to happen. And this happens all the time. So good for Caroline and everyone involved, really, who are putting this menopause workplace pledge into action. It's very, very, very important.
Yeah. What's your advice, Carol, to women and men who are watching this morning, who are anxious or unsure about how to deal with the menopause and the symptoms and the impact that it has, not just on the person that's going through it, but of course, work colleagues and indeed family as well?
I think to find as much information as possible, to fill in the sort of lists of symptom checkers, to insist that you have your blood tests, because only by the blood test can you see where your levels of the particular hormones are balanced. Get some sort of hormone replacement if that's what your doctor advises, but to tweak it, because the first, some people say, oh, I had the patch, it didn't work. But that's perhaps because that balance of it wasn't right for you. I tweak all the time as I'm going through the years. You know, what suited me when I was 53 doesn't suit me now I'm 61, because your body changes quite dramatically. So I would say that is very important.